start with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, seeking an approval of the agenda.
Motion for the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Bo, second by Shelley, all in favor? 6-0. Has everybody had a chance to look over the consent agenda?
I need to abstain from check number 52432. Amy?
What was that check?
52432.
Me also.
I have check number 52450 and 52384. Anybody have any comments or anything else they want to add?
The only thing I would add is I was trying to find the IRS rate for business use mileage, and that seems to be lower than what the IRS rate is, if I'm looking at this correctly.
We try to go with the Missouri rate, which is a little bit lower than the
Yeah,
IRS
I
rate.
know. I was trying to find that split, because it takes a little bit to kind of get to it. I didn't get to it today. So that's the Missouri rate for 26.
It's not the Missouri rate, it's a little bit lower than the Missouri rate.
Do we think we should use the Missouri rate with the IRS as the mileage?
I was just trying to save our budget. I figured if Nathan wanted to increase it, he could.
Ours is 50, so that's not 65. That's generous. So.
I think 65 is
This one, yeah.
comparable
Ours is
for
50.
school districts.
Yeah.
What was it last year?
Same thing.
The show of business is 72.5 on the IRS standard, though. What? Yeah.
Only comment I've got on the bills is it seems like every month our fuel bill goes higher and higher. Is there a reason? I mean,
Gas is up, oil is up.
yeah, but it's not over $1,000 worth a month higher.
Typically in the spring, we have a lot of field trips.
Yeah, well, I just want to make a comment that I assume there was trips involved in there.
Anybody have anything else they want to bring up? Go over, discuss, or make a motion to approve it? Better, do you want to make a amendment?
No, I mean, I just kind of assumed that we had to go by the IRS rate. If that's not the case, and that's consistent with what other schools have done, I'm fine with that. Just thought I'd ask the question.
Oh, yeah, I don't, yeah, from what I know, like at our work, we don't have to follow it. Just people be proud to if you know. We're at 67. I think if we got into like gas being $6 a gallon, maybe we could reevaluate it for our staff so we're not shortchanging them too much. Good point.
make a motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that. All in favor? 6-0. All right, moving on to our administrative reports, superintendent.
Yes, in my memo, I mentioned to you that the budget that you'll be approving tonight shows us receiving about 105,000 less in actual state formula money, and we will be receiving 35,306 less in our title money. And the other piece of information, if in fact the formula were really funded at the 7,145 level, we would be receiving another 239,613 in state money. But the budget is not built on that because we do not believe that's going to happen. So I've got a very conservative revenue figure for the state formula built into this next year's budget. We also we're being told we may see some withholdings in this June payment that typically comes out the 21st, sometimes the 22nd of the month. So we don't have that yet, but we will know that when we get it. And then the only other thing is, this is my last board meeting. This has certainly been an adventure. And I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that there is absolutely no way anybody could come in and do this without the help of Lisa and Amy. They really are the driving force about what keeps this office going. So really appreciate all their help. And I've tried to bring some things in the compliance that we kind of missed the boat on in terms of bidding, but I think Nathan ought to be ready to jump right in there.
We appreciate your time and work you've done for us, Joe.
Thank you.
The last several months.
Thanks for putting up with us. I think we owe a thanks to you and Dr. Dell, as well as our staff, because they
Yes.
put up with a lot this year, and it's been hard to keep it all going. And everyone on the board too, including Kelly and Craig, because we had a lot of extra meetings and time spent because we didn't have a superintendent. So a lot of time went into it this year. And so we thank you. We'll also thank Dr. Hanson, who's here tonight, who's leaving. And there's several other teachers that we'll want to make sure that we thank as well that are leaving the district and or retiring. So appreciate that. Anybody else have any questions for her? Are you gonna go over Jason's stuff?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
I have it.
He messaged me that he was out. If we have specific questions, we can call him.
I know that there was just an update. The only thing I'm going to add is there was an update to the credit recovery he had on here. When he had to turn in his report, it was only 8 kids that had came out of 12, but we ended up with 11 out of 12 finishing. So that was really successful. A lot of kids showed up, got their credits recovered, and that was a good thing. So I thought it was worth mentioning that we had those numbers show up for credit recovery. So graduation went well. So thank you guys for all coming. You guys were all in attendance, and we appreciate your support being there. So if you have anything specific that you want to know, you can ask him on his report. But those are the main things.
Any questions? Yeah, there's pretty short and sweet because it's just credit recovery on that side. Elementary, however, that's summer school.
We've been running still. We have 2 more days. We will have a drawing for some bicycles and some scooters for our perfect attendance kiddos. We had our first field trip yesterday to Strikers, and that went well. Tomorrow the conservation is coming, and we're having a fishing day at the park. And then the big kids will go on Friday to Strikers. Just a few things. I put in there our discipline referrals for the year. We had 59 overall, which seems pretty low, but that's up 37 from the previous year. So we got a little more going on last year. I also put in there our diagnostic results from reading and math, and the big things to look at there when you're looking at those two triangles. You want the green to get bigger, the red to get smaller. And so students on tier one, which would be on or above grade level, we were up 39% from the beginning of the year to the end in reading, and math went up 34%. Ended the year with about 34 or 94% attendance. The PBS tier three, which means you have all levels of support in place, that was just awarded at the end of May, and so we were able to again obtain the level or the tier three recognition. And I also oversee title, and so I just want to let you know that this was a year for tiered monitoring. All of our corrective actions, everything's been turned in, and everything's in compliance. So that's wrapped up.
Any questions? Dr. Hanson?
Yep, so mine is just updating the current special education count from the end of May. Not a whole lot of changes. We are starting to see a lot of those transfers in and out, so the ratios haven't quite changed. We did knock that ratio down to be more appropriate this year upon my exit, but still has some work to do with those 3-year readals that come due. We tackled a lot this year and hoping that that continues the momentum moving forward. Same thing with what Ms. Pettigrew mentioned. We were kind of in a all hands deck of tiered monitoring. So McKinney window was completed. Parents and teachers have been resolved and fixed. So we do have one parent educator who will be working into next year and already has systems and things put in place with Ms. Pettigrew for next year. Migrant and foster care were completed and are in compliance. And the only one I'm waiting for information on is the special education tiered monitoring. We won't know the information of that with the corrective action plans and anything until we come back in August, potentially later into October. So that's one that they will do over the summer, and we'll probably have a few things to just correct procedurally, process-wise. And then the last part that I've got is upcoming contracts for next year. Those are added in there. Specifically working with our board certified behavior analyst. She's been kind of a great support for our high needs classrooms and more of those challenging kids. Ms. Pettigrew mentioned that there was an uptick in office referrals. Majority of those are going to link back to your special education kiddos. And so when you have that data tracking that there was an uptick in behavior, pulling in some expert support is very vital and necessary to improve that moving forward. And then, like Dr. Wolf mentioned, it's been a privilege and an honor to work with Tipton this year, and I'm just grateful for the experience and welcoming back to Central Missouri from Southeast, and I hope to keep in contact and collaborate and work with you guys in the future.
Thank you. We appreciate your help.
Appreciate it. Any questions? All right. Leads us into new business and special learning center contract.
So this is the entity that services our early childhood special ed, and this is our contract for next academic year. So we need approval from the board before I can sign that.
I'll move to approve the proposed special learning center contract.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bo, second by Bob. All in favor? Be 6-0. All right, next up is the final 25-26 budget. Do you want to go over that?
Well, what I would ask is that what you're actually approving is the revenues listed by source and fund, and we will amend that to actual figures after we receive our state payment and all our credits, as well as amending all of our expenditures by June 30th. So you would just need to approve paying all the remaining of this fiscal year's bills that come in after June the 10th, as well as we will need to transfer 203,128 out of Fund 1 to zero Fund 2. And we will transfer 128,062. That covers our lease purchase that we pay out of Fund 4, but we take the money out of Fund 1 and put it into Fund 4 to pay that. And then I put just a minimal 7% WADA WAM transfer into capital projects of 75,000 for next year. The following year, you'll see that I'm not recommending any transfer at the end of 26, 27. But for this year, I'm recommending a $75,000 transfer just to keep our fund our Fund 4 at a place where if we had something catastrophic like a roof blow off or whatever, we would have the funds in Fund 4 to start to take care of that. Are there any questions about that 25-26 budget?
Any questions?
Do that in one motion, Amy, just to approve the, we have several other things kind of going on. I asked if we do that in one motion.
Yes. It's a motion to approve the final budget, the budget amendments.
I'll make that motion, to approve the, budget for, amendment as presented.
Second. Motion by Bo, second by Derek, all in favor? 6-0. All right, next up is the approval of the preliminary budget for 26-27. As we know, we'll be changing around a lot between the preliminary and the final, so.
True. Typically, the first amendment comes in January after you receive taxes, so you have a little bit better idea of revenues. What's included in this 26-27 budget is, first of all, a budget message that basically goes line by line in the revenues, explaining how the figures were arrived at, and then line by line in the expenditures that explain what we're doing with expenditures. That's the first piece. The second piece is the actual budget with the 4-year comparison. And then the third piece is our debt service schedule. You will note on the debt service schedule, we only have one payment left, for which we made the transfer so that it'll already be ready. We make that payment at the end of September. It's due in October, so that will retire that lease purchase piece. And then you also see our debt service funding, and that's 2 pages, and that shows you what our payments are from now till the end of that.
Questions, concerns? Motions?
At this point, it is a balanced budget.
I'll make the motion to approve the preliminary budget for the 26-27 school year.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bo, second by Bob, all in favor? 6-0. Like, couldn't balance it.
Well, I was struggling, but I managed to look under some more rocks.
Great work. Let's just hope we keep our state funding and they figure something out up there.
That would be nice.
All right, next up is would be approval of the handbooks. We have the teacher staff handbook, high school, middle school, and elementary.
those have basically been updated, with your personnel changes and board changes, as well as, at this point, any staff that we knew of when we put this in, that may need to be modified somewhat as we go throughout the year. But
Anyone
I
see?
looked through these earlier today, I didn't see anything else that really stood out.
There was one state law thing Jason mentioned in his update, I believe.
But what,
There
The
was
cell
something.
phone policy,
Huh?
the cell phone one.
Yeah, even though we adopted, I don't think it would in time got into the
Right.
actual handbook last year, so it's in there now.
it wouldn't be a bad thing, just for future years, to kind of use a track changes, approach to this, so we can like see what's like new into the budget. That makes sense?
like highlight in yellow,
Or not budget, but yeah.
any
I mean, like,
verbiage
yeah,
that's changed.
that would be kind of nice, just to see what's added in, what changes are there, because it's not like you're starting from like fresh every time. I'll make the motion to approve all three of these handbooks.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bo, second by Bob, all in favor? 6-0. And that is the end of the agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm still reading, I'm slow. I make a motion to move to executive section following 610.021 for 1-3-13 to include all them.
Alright. Motion by Derek. Second by David. Bob?
Yeah, yes.
Derek?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes.
Bo?
Yep.
And I'm a yes. 6-0. Thank you all for coming.